And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is all about reflections on vases or reflections on anything. Why reflections? Because it shows the form of the thing that you're painting. For instance, let me just show you something that works for me. All right, here we go. Here in the studio, so for instance, like a ball. Just think of a ball. This will explain everything. There's your ball sitting on a table, okay? All right, in a pitch black room. So what I'm gonna do is actually put an arrow. I always like to put an arrow. This is where your light is coming from. That means the light's reflecting right here on this ball. Well, if that's the case, that means there's no light behind here. Light doesn't go around the back side of the moon, right? And there's your dark part of the ball, right? Now also, because we have a light coming across here, it's going to create a shadow. So just please know that whatever you're painting, if it's a three-dimensional object like this, it sits on the shadow. Also convinces people that that's what you're doing, all right? Well, now I'm just going to add some water to this. Of course, this is the water-soluble drawing pencils that I like so much. There's the dark side of the moon, the ball. Here's your shadow. Now, to really emphasize this, you want to have this ball in a dark room. You'll see in a second here why it's important to know about reflection. So if we have a dark color, that's the background, the room's color, and if we gradually go across, we're just adding more water, more water, more water. So now what we have is dark against light, dark against light. Now, you would think if light's coming across here, all of this would be light. No, no, no. I'm learning this from Michelangelo, Vermeer, and all those cats. They were always having the object, a person, near a window. No electricity. So that way they're in a dark room, just like this. And then the highlight, the reflection, right in here. And really dark back here, really dark. And again, just water on my brush. Look how that just pops. This is just a sketch right now. But that's what I'm trying to get across, the concept of a ball in a dark room and why it's like this. Once we understand that, let me show you some of the paintings on the back wall of my studio here that reflect the reflection. So keeping this sketch in mind, here's a shape, different shapes. This is what I want you to practice. Different shapes of vases. It's a great fun thing to do. But notice I haven't put any super highlights. Lights, 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 lights. But I've shown you just simple light, dark, light, dark. It shows the roundness. Now this is a ceramic or a reflective surface vase. This is clear glass. We're not going to do the clear glass. That's another whole BobBlast coming up. But we're going to work mostly on reflective surfaces. So I want you to practice different shapes. Great thing to do with the paintbrush. I'll do some of that today also. Because why is the shape important? It's part of the arrangement of your flowers, making sure the vase is large enough to hold this big bouquet, or it's not disproportional, that kind of a thing. But there's no reflection on this right now, but there is a focal point. But I do have the dark. We don't have the light in here yet, right? I'm just showing the shape. That's so important to get different shapes because you've done some sketches, so you already know. Well, here's a real simple vase. Dark side, we've been practicing now with the darks and lights, and now we're doing it with color. Same thing, dark against light, dark against light. So practice different shapes. They're just so beautiful. All those glass bottles that you've been collecting all these years. Now here's a black and white one. The same thing. Now we have reflection. Dark, light, strong shadow. The shadows tell the viewer, where's the light coming from? across this direction. Think of a searchlight. Think of a spotlight. Very theatrical. Same thing here. This is a black and white with a little bit of a tint glow on it. Still the same thing. Look how beautiful the shape is. And it all works proportionally. Okay, we have the light source. There's your focal point. And on this side of the vase, see how round it looks? And always have it sitting on its own shadow. Here's a nice crazy one. This whole thing was a mess. And I found a vase of flowers in this big mess. It's fun to do. So it's still dark. But here I have the background the same. It doesn't always have to be dark light, dark light. So here's more of a neutral background all the way across. It's a different feeling. Now here's I have the light coming this direction. Pretty obviously here. Brightest flowers on this side, in the light coming this direction. And of course the shadow's going in that direction. See how it sits on its shadow. Now we can keep on going. This is more subtle, very subtle. But I still have some lightness over here and some darkness over here. And again, nice long shadow because it's casting a shadow right here on the table. Make sure that the back edge of the table is out of focus. Don't make that a hard edge because that'll bring the back edge of the table up to the same level as the vase that's in focus. So again, another way of making the vase and the vase so important is you put it in focus and everything else goes out of focus. All right, now this situation here, we're sitting right on top of a shelf. So kind of everything's in focus. Kind of a fun painting too. And it's pretty obvious where the light's coming from. Even in this dark shadow on a dark table, you still see it. Over here, pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of reflection going on just yet. That's my last step. So I've done the painting. I know where the shadows are. I know this side's going to be bright. This side's going to be a little bit brighter, this vase. But notice it's reflecting the color of the pear, reflecting on here. Now, it's not reality, but it is in my painting. And my paintings, for me, are reality. Let me do a demo for you right now. So let me show you how I do reflections. All right. I'm working flat, my watercolor paper. Here's some black. Gotta add some black. It's got some white. I like to have it ready to go. So I have some red, yellow, some nice dark blue. I've already put a value, marigold, kind of an Indian yellow value already, a midtone, on this watercolor paper. Here we go. So I'm just going to do the ball like we've been doing in the room, but only this time it's going to be the vase. Okay? So we're going to get a shape of a vase. And you have to make sure there's plenty of room up in here for the bouquet, right? So let's just play with the shape. Let's play around with the shape. I'm not even going to draw it. You don't want to draw. Because if you start drawing it, you'll start coloring it in. Let's get an interesting shape. Oh, that's kind of an interesting shape. I'm going to make it more elegant. Make it more elegant. Let's go up. There we go. Much better. They're trying to make the sides even. Good luck on that one. Yeah, that's better. Coming down here. Narrow, kind of like a Greek urn, right? And let's give it a little bit of a lip. A little bit of a neck. Here we go. Pretty simple, right? Is it exactly? No. Is it a painting? Yes. It's that simple, folks. There's the back edge of the table. The light is still coming across this direction, all right? So now here we go. Let's put some light over in here. There's the beginning of the reflection. Remember the ball? And for fun, let's put the dark side in. Whoa. He's gone to the dark side. I'm just mixing a little bit of green, a little bit yellow. A whole lot of black. Wow. Pretty dramatic, isn't it? Get in, get out. Don't sit here and tickle it to death. Now we're looking at reflection. So it's really difficult to know unless you're actually looking at a vase that's reflecting. You can't really make this up. So I've looked at it enough that I can kind of make it up. There's your shadow right off the bat at the very beginning. Now let's get into some more of a painting technique. And get in, get out. Make it rich. Wow, nice. And short, choppy strokes. Show people how exciting it is to be a painter, not how difficult it is. We don't want to tell them that part. There's your hot spot. I'm always going back to the reflection. A little up in here. Remember the ball. Now, if we remember the ball, that means the background is going to be darker. In this case, we'll make it a dark blue. Just to really push it back. There's a little bit of green in there, too. Lots of water. Again, this is just a quick sketch. I'm going to let some of the tone of the paper come through. I like that look. I'm not going to paint anything up in there because that's where the flowers are going to be going. All right. But I am just kind of outlining this a little bit so you can see shape in the dark areas. Again, get out, get in, get out. Lots of water. Lots of water. I'm not even going to address this part yet. Now here comes the light against dark. Just lots of white on my brush. Show the brush marks. It's a painting. It's not an airbrush. So I'm going to make this even richer. By making it darker, it makes the painting richer and more contrast. You just have to imagine the flowers at this point. And again, coming into here, making it even richer. I'm going to come back and make it even stronger. There we go. Wow. Now, what about the table? What I'm going to do with the table is I'm going to make the table shadow lighter. Right now it's just really strong, just to emphasize the point. I'm going to make this shadow slightly blue. I tend to make my shadows bluish. They tend to be the complementary color of the light source, believe it or not. So if we have a yellow sun, shadow is going to be bluish. Something like that. And if I want to, I can come back in now and make the table really bright. That's what I'm going to do right now. Let's do it with a big brush. Big brush, lots of water. Do all your mixing on the table. There we go. And this is all hard-edged at this point because there are some parts that will be a soft edge, out of focus, so to speak. All right. Now here we go. Everything's in focus. Now here's what I call the wet finger technique. Just come in with a wet finger, make it blue. Doesn't have to be that dark. Somewhat bluish. Now the back edge of the table. Remember, you want to put that out of focus, so you can use a wet brush or a wet finger. Don't worry, folks, I already have some kind of a hand salve on my hands to protect me. There you go. I can't wear those gloves. I put too many holes in them. There we go, softening the background. So you make that out of focus. That way you can make this part in focus, hard-edged. Well, there you have it. I mean, may as well exaggerate it. Put in some colors in here, too. Let's exaggerate the whole thing. Have fun. Make it a painting. There we go. Well, I think we've made the point. So we have dark against light, dark against light. Pretty dramatic. That's the way I like it. We get the hair softer. And you want to soften this edge, too. The shadow wants to be softer. I don't want the eye to focus on that so quickly. The eye will always go to the part of the painting that is in focus first. the focal point, right? There you go. So that's it for the demo on this one. Let me show you one more thing on the back wall. So sometimes I forget about reflection. So you come back in and just put it in. Make it go zing, 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 soften the edges. And it's pretty obvious where the light comes from. It's kind of fun. So this was all about reflecting off of a solid ceramic thing. What about glass? So that was part one. Stay tuned for part two about how do you do the reflection on glass. I can't wait to do it for you. I'll see you on the next BobBlast. Hi there, I'm Bob Burridge, and this lesson is all about painting and sketching everyday common objects, the things you see on the table right in front of you right now. For instance, everyday common objects like a coffee cup. I'll paint them and sketch with them and use different color combinations. It's a great way, especially when you don't have any ideas to get started, okay? Just look at everything and just pick it up in your hand, especially a coffee cup. Look at it. Look at all the radiuses and the underneath all of that stuff and the straight lines and the kind of goofy ellipses. Hold it in your hand. Everyday common objects. They can be your eyeglasses, pencils, anything that's sitting on the table. And then you do single ones. You'll see me do single ones. And then I like to do like 6 of them all at the same time. Remember, it's all about staying loose. Not just one at a time, 2 at a time. I do them all at the same time. Boy, at the end of doing all of those, my shoulders are loose, I'm breathing, it's having a great time. So in this, you'll see all the materials that I'm using, and you're gonna see a lot of samples. So it's a great time to get started and get loose. And if you watch all this, see it again and again and again, because I'll be watching you in the studio. Have a great time.